Okay.
I will start.
Empowering digital workplaces. Better communication, greater creativity. In 2017, Ricoh created Empowering Digital Workplaces, promising customers to connect people to information faster and more conveniently to improve communication and creativity. Inspired by the Sunai spirit of love your neighbor, love your country, love your work, since 1936, Ricoh continually thinks about how to help people work more creatively and achieve more satisfying lives. The first Japanese copy machine transformed the workplace, helping people to transmit information quickly and accurately without the time-wasting tedium of endlessly reproducing business documents. The first fax machine extended information transmission beyond the limits of hand-to-hand delivery to connect people across cities, countries, and the world in mere seconds. Both these breakthroughs were the birth of what is now recognized as office automation. Simple document creation, duplication, and delivery evolved into an endless series of workplace innovations that are changing the entire workflow of copying, printing, information communication, storage, and search. As times change and technology advances, there are still many complex worker, societal and social interaction challenges to be solved by Ricoh, continuing to think about people to provide solutions that enhance their communication and creativity. Ricoh's value of empowering digital workplaces transforms business thinking into workable ideas that connect society in new sustainable value chains.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It is with much pleasure to welcome you and have you with us in this Ricoh Singapore webinar. My name is Gladys Wong, and I am from the Corporate Planning and Marketing. You may wonder why a need is there to enhance or strengthen IT infrastructure, which includes having a resilient cybersecurity system. This is because IT infrastructure serves as a foundation for business agility. For remote workers, it is more than connectivity. It is the tools to get the work done. For security leaders, it is having confidence that you are protected against threats that you have not yet seen. For business leaders, it is ensuring continuity of operations no matter what happens next. Without cybersecurity and protection, business continuity will be undermined and impeded. This pandemic has accelerated remote working and digital transformation. Businesses have dramatically changed the way it manages workflow and processes. Now, digital handshakes are legally binding. Imagine losing all this data because of a cybersecurity breach. Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore has spotted 3 emerging cybersecurity threats. One of them is the targeting of a remote workforce. As remote working becomes more and more common during the pandemic, poorly configured network and software systems have widened the attack surface and put organizations at a greater risk of cyber attacks, as quoted by CSA. Take control of the human elements of security. Practice zero trust defense, and we'll show you how in a few minutes. Before I introduce our panel speakers today, we want to do a quick poll of 3 questions. On the pop-up, you will see the poll. To drop in your answers now, there are only 2 questions. We just like to get your views on. And also, it's a test of how well you know your cybersecurity terms. Right. Okay. So allow me to introduce our panel speakers today. It is my privilege to have Mr. Lawrence Chua, who is the head of the managed services at Ricoh Singapore. He is in charge of growing the strategic business of IT services and Ricoh communication products in the Singapore market. With more than 23 years in the digital technology arena covering infrastructure, security, and managed services, he is the part of the digital transformation lead in Ricoh Singapore, instrumental in transforming and establish partnerships with leading solutions partners. Lawrence has been involved in several advisory roles in various vertical markets. He is also a member of SG Tech, Co-op Exco member with the Singapore Enterprise Chapter. And we are glad to have Vigilant Asia team with us today. Mr. Victor Chia, CEO of Vigilant Asia. Throughout his career spanning from 1997 to date, Victor has successfully built businesses and led large-scale projects in the areas of document printing, document storage, document imaging, and cybersecurity services. He has been working mainly with FSIs, which needs a deep understanding to be able to work within the framework, particularly regulations by Bank Negara, such as BAFIA, BAFIA Act, Risk Management Information Technology, RMIT, and Outsourcing Policy document. Mr. Saifuddin bin Sajjad Hussain, Head of Strategy at Vigilant Asia. Saifuddin has more than 20 years of experience in various leadership roles in corporate finance, cybersecurity, banking, and business process outsourcing. His primary focus within VA, Vigilant Asia, as Head of Strategy is building partnerships, project management, and leading strategic initiatives. Finally, we have Mr. Kevin Zachary, Head of Services at Vigilant Asia, managing a team of cybersecurity professionals that handles solution deployments, security engineering, support services. Over 10 years of experience under his belt in various fields of IT, including printing security, pre-sales, deployments, support, cybersecurity encompassing security for enterprise infrastructure, networks, endpoints, mobile threat solutions. He is PMP trained, ITL certified, and Zimperium NETS trained. Wow, that was quite a mouthful. Right, now we have our Zoom keeping rules. Okay, before we begin the session, here are your Zoom keeping rules. You are muted by default. If you'd like to raise a point or any questions, please post them on the chat box. Towards the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A, which you can post your question in the chat box, and our presenters will try their best to answer them. Or during the session, if you wish to post any questions, please do so as well. You can just type inside your chat box. Okay, let's have the results. Okay, here are the results. Which are the key factors in determining for, I am so sorry, I think,
I think we can do another poll later on.
Sure, can do. I think there was
Technical glitch, I think.
yeah,
Wrong
technical
poll came
glitch.
out.
A wrong poll came out. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Didn't see that. Okay. Right now, back to Lawrence. You can start the session.
Okay, so let me share the screen, please.
Yep. Let me.
Right. So once again, thank you, Gladys, for the introduction. And once again, thank you. Good afternoon to everyone and our panelists, Victor, Kevin, Saifuddin, to be part of this talking point. We will be talking more along the sharing with your expert advice and recommendation shortly, later. Okay, so allow me to kickstart the webinar by introducing Ricoh Agile Workplace Experience. The two critical challenges faced by businesses today, pushing up business performance, meaning profitability, and secondly, ensuring safety of our human capital. Building resilient and adaptable workplaces and workflows is something that many companies struggle to get it right. There were so many platforms to integrate, so many use cases to navigate, remote versus local work, and an endless demand for creative hybrid solutions. So our agile work experiences are built upon a platform that creates a seamless and importantly, secure work ecosystems for your people, giving them the ability to focus on building a better future for the company while they work with confidence. Ricoh is a single partner who can integrate your current technology stack and fill in the gaps with best-in-class partner solutions, all brought together in an interface that makes everything easy to monitor and manage. So in simple terms, we are putting together workplace, workflow, and workers seamlessly to build an agile work experience. So hereby the introduction of Ricoh 4 pillars of agile work experience. The first pillar, the smart and safe workplace, which provide a safe, flexible work environment. We're looking into how it operates differently than it has before. For example, capacity planning, physical distancing, contact tracing, touchless interactions, and disinfection technology solutions that are now in the forefront of our office planning. As you are evaluating how you will bring your employees back into your office, the importance lies on how to ensure they remain safe and productive. The remote worker, work anywhere, anytime. The way we work and where we work has changed. One basic fact has not. The work still needs to get it done. So leveraging remote working tools can help keep your employees safe, connected, and engaged no matter where they are. The key area of focus for you when it comes to supporting your remote workforce are to ensure employees have access to the right tools, information, and systems, maintaining a very positive customer experience, and ensuring employees remain connected to their co-workers. While enabling our hybrid employees, we need to increase cybersecurity awareness and actions to protect the assets. Process automation, streamline and accelerate critical processes for better efficiency and productivity. If you are still using paper files and you print, scan, email, download, convert, organize, or even search for these files manually, you know how time-consuming this manual task can be. So when you add the increase in remote and hybrid workers, businesses can slow to a crawl. Paper no longer gets the job done in today's digital work environment, which is why so many businesses are turning to cloud document management and workflow automation to ensure their critical business processes continue moving forward efficiently. So we equip businesses to automate tedious processes digitally. Coming to the fourth pillar, streamline your cloud and IT infrastructure for enhanced business agility. This is critical in today's digital work environment. We equip businesses to embark on their digital journey with clear and proven technologies and expertise. We provide expertise in building a modern IT infrastructure to support workers, enable productivity, and improve security, meeting security, compliance, privacy, and governance requirements to protect workers against malicious cyber threats. Importantly, to ensure business continuity in the event of a disaster or pandemic outbreak. So these are the 4 pillars of a Ricoh Agile workplace. Right, while we are adapting to the current pandemic fluid changes, businesses must continue to plan and innovate for a post-pandemic recovery. With many organizations now having an extensive remote workforce, new technologies in use, and digital transformation underway across the board, it is undeniable that security plays an important role in enabling businesses to operate smoothly. However, many lack the infrastructure and the technology know-how, putting a strain on the internal resources trying to protect their critical business assets from hackers' attacks. As an end user, we use connected devices daily to manage corporate data and infrastructure. So how safe is our device in the digital world? Are we the weakest link? Many of us were asking this simple and yet complex question over and over. The cyber threat landscape is a daunting one. Since the start of COVID, cybercrime has increased 300%. 90,000 sites were hacked daily. With 4.4 billion internet users, 75% have social media profiles. You and me are included inside. Security issues arises when internet users experience malware attacks. There are 56 data records being compromised every second, and 26% of these data records breaches were stolen identities. This is very scary when we look at this. Today's cyber attacks is an organized crime, targeting on specific sectors, groups, or individuals. There are numerous attacks on corporations and individuals. The sectors which are most attacks that happen are in the government and public sector, manufacturing and finance, and many others are not spared. Government data is one of the most valuable, exploiting on personal records to highly confidential information which may jeopardize personal or national security. Manufacturing data, which includes patents. In the finance, data which deals on currency. Looking at the job function, the most targeted groups are in the C-suite level, shared mailbox groups and sales groups. These are critical job functional groups which corporate information which can be used to counter competition and bring down an organization. Closer to home was the recent Singtel personal information data breach. The personal information taken includes 129,000 customers' NRIC numbers and a combination of names, dates of birth, mobile numbers, and addresses. In addition, bank accounts of 28 former Singtel employees and credit card details of 45 staff members of a corporate customer with Singtel mobile lines were also taken. Some information from the 23 enterprises, including suppliers, partners, corporate customers, were also stolen. So when a data breach occurs in an organization or an individual, it may not necessarily stop at the organization or that person. The breaches will be extended to other organizations and connections to it rapidly. In the latest publication on 8 July, cybercrime was up 43% of overall crime in 2020, an increase of 62% from 2019. A staggering 16,117 cases of cybercrime reported, of which 12,251 are online cheating, 3,621 under the Computer Misuse Act, and 245 cases were cyber extortion cases. This is terrible. Ransomware incidents, such as more COVID-related phishing activities increase. There are 3 emerging cybersecurity trends: the surge of ransomware, targeting of remote workforce, targeting of supply chains. Remote workforce became a fast and easy access by hackers as they have a poorly configured network and software system. Any one of us is a potential target of cyber attack. This is a fact, and it is the knockout feeling of the level of damage we may face. How ready are we, and how can we combat cyber threats? This is a quick snapshot of a malicious hotspots in Singapore. free Wi-Fi hotspots, quick outdoor connectivity, but we do not know what is uploaded to our devices when we are connected. Pushing of advertisements, unknown promotion links to us, etc., etc. This simple yet seem harmless activity that we do every time we are out and about may be a potential breach of our device security. So let's take a minute to understand the recent cyber scams and impersonation reported. Then we'll invite Saifuddin to share more insights about it. Yeah, so take a minute of this.
More people here in Singapore are falling victim to cyber scams and impersonation. A survey by the Cybersecurity Agency last year reveals more than a third of those polled were hit despite greater awareness of good cybersecurity practices. Geraldine Yap with more.
She thought she was being helpful when she forwarded a WhatsApp code she received to a friend who asked for it. But Han Wen-Chi found herself locked out of her own account by a scammer. The makeup artist tried in vain to get her account back, but eventually had to change her number. The scammer impersonated her, and her contacts fell prey to the same ruse.
For my job, a lot of communication is done via WhatsApp. I'm really concerned about my clients receiving all these messages, and it's really not professional. So I decided to just delete the old number and change to a new one.
Right. So we have Saifuddin online. Hi, Saifuddin.
Hi.
So many people is actually falling victim to cyber scam. So why do hackers want to impersonate identities? I mean, in this news, for example, the victim is a makeup artist. Yeah.
Ultimately, what people are looking at is that when they want to trick people, when they impersonate people, they're trying to gain their confidence, and when they're trying to gain their confidence, they're trying to either steal money from them or information. And it's so much easier to impersonate today because of, and especially as you have seen, you've done, why is it in COVID today, so much crime has been going up? It's because physically we are not able to move about, especially, we are based in Malaysia right now, and we've literally been working from home for the last 18 months. So you hardly go out. The only people you probably meet are the people in the supermarket or close relatives. But those other friends, how do we keep in touch? We usually keep in touch with them, through WhatsApp, chat, or maybe Facebook, or those kind of stuff. So if someone has impersonated your friend, most likely you really believe that the guy, that person is actually your friend. You wouldn't realize that, someone else has taken away his account. And so if we were to, for example, ask for donations to help some COVID victims, for example, you think that, hey, yeah, it's my friend, I'll just give him the money. And so it becomes very easy for criminals to do it, and because of the anonymity of it, it pays. It's very hard for police to even track down the criminals, and so it's easier to impersonate, it's easier to get in, and people are easily tricked, and so therefore crime has been increasing.
Totally agree. I think we are also not spared. I mean, we are receiving a lot of text messages, SMSs, and such, having us to go into certain links to click on it, and I think this is very, very rampant currently.
Exactly.
Yeah, and hackers do not know who they are maybe engaging with. Once the device is compromised, boom, it's the hacker's world to fully exploit the breach. Yeah, totally agree. So let's look at the next clip. I think this a survey was done by Channel News Asia, right, on 1,000 correspondents. Do they know the risk of not protecting their devices? Let's take a look.
A survey of about 1,000 people by the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore shows a troubling trend. Almost 4 in 10 people fell victim to at least one cyber incident last year. That's up from about 3 in 10 in 2019. The most common incidents include unauthorized attempts to access accounts and being impersonated online. Respondents are concerned, but most think they won't be hit. Fewer than 4 in 10 use cybersecurity apps, even though nearly 8 in 10 understand the risks of not doing so. In fact, fewer people installed cybersecurity apps on their mobile devices compared with the previous year. That's despite increased awareness about cyber attacks like phishing and good cybersecurity practices like how to set a strong password.
Seriously, cyber landscapes are getting more complex and dynamic, along with the cyber threats that is also getting more sophisticated and systematic. So corporations are keeping up with the perimeter security and of all their connected devices. However, out of the corporation network, we are potentially exposed as an individual. So let's bring on Kevin online. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi. So you are an expert in providing service delivery to cyber solutions to corporations and individuals. So you are the man behind all deployment, yeah? Right. So the respondents' new cybersecurity apps are available. So what is the difference between cybersecurity and antivirus apps to be installed in our devices? And what are the gaps of antivirus solution and how cybersecurity able to bridge the gap?
Yeah, I think the common misconception is that antivirus apps are enough to secure the mobile, but the reality behind it is that comparing it to mobile threat or cybersecurity app, antivirus are reliant on databases or engines, and they need the internet to be constantly protecting you. If you lose internet, or if a hacker were to infiltrate your network and stop your device from accessing the network, or disallowing this antivirus app to actually connect back to their database in the cloud to perceive a threat or not, that actually effectively cripples the antivirus solution. So that's where a mobile threat defense application will actually play a very important role, because it is not dependent on database and engine. It's actually more dependent on an AI that sits in the app itself. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
So prevention is always better than cure.
Oh yes, definitely.
But knowing where to find the cure is the key, right?
Yeah.
Right. But wait till you see this short documentary, which I'm going to show you in the next clip. Once I saw this clip, I basically went paranoid. Yeah. So take a look.
Today, Gao Jun is going to show me how he and his friends with the same hacking skills can break into phones like this with ease. Hello! Hi, Gao Jun. I'm Shui.
This is Richard, and this is Shalina here.
Hi, nice to meet all of you. So, all of you are hackers here.
Yep.
Are you telling me that you can hack into this phone?
Yes.
And what will happen when you guys do that?
We are able to see your messages as well as your location, and we are also able to see both of your front and back cameras.
Wait, so you guys can see where I go?
Yes.
They also can do key logging. Means whatever you type from the phone, we also can see.
So if I'm logging into my bank account, you guys can see all the details I'm typing in?
Yes, we can.
Why do you just take the phone and then we will get back to you on what we actually find?
Okay, so I can roam about and you guys can see what I'm doing?
Yep, correct.
Okay, I'll see you guys in a bit.
All right.
I am one of some 4.65 million smartphone users in Singapore. We carry our phones everywhere and use it for just about everything. And we've never been more at risk from hackers, spying, stealing credentials, and spreading dangerous malware.
Hey guys, I'm back. So what do you guys find out?
I can see that you went to a cafe over here, as well as I have a recording of your camera when you enter the cafe.
So you guys actually saw me going to the toilet?
Yep, we actually have a recording of that too.
Wait, so you recorded the whole thing? That is terrifying.
And through this GPS coordinate, I can actually track where you're going.
Wow.
We even know that you met your friend Keith.
Hey Keith! Hey, hi, how are you? My privacy was just violated. I feel very paranoid and scared actually.
Wow, so are you paranoid now? Devices can be compromised almost readily by a hacker. So there must be a way to mitigate this risk. So let's have Kevin to be online to share more. Kevin?
Yes, so basically, looking at this slide over here, right, I'm going to use an analogy of how you will protect your house. Traditionally, if we look on the left-hand side where we take antivirus application, right, we are going to look into how traditionally we used to use CCTV that you will only see the recording later, and things like that, whereby there is no safeguard against attacks. There is no prevention. There is no proactive actions that can, that be taken by an antivirus, in that sense that it cannot actually help you much. By the time you already get the alert, you may be already compromised, or the attack that is detected may not be able to be mitigated in any way. So that's where, looking at on the right hand side of your screen, if you see MTD, we have the inspections in place, we have the gates in place, we have the alarm system even, and even the sensors with an AI engine that's sitting inside the house, which is more secure because of the fact that an AI engine is actually sitting inside your environment or on your phone. It does not rely on the internet connection. So if a hacker, like how you saw in the video, right, if the hacker were to infiltrate your phone and try to stop any sort of connection back to the cloud to actually check for, whether it's an attack or not, that using an AI that's inside your device will actually help in making sure that the hacker's method of trying to stop prevention or detection is then mitigated already. So this really helps that in a way that if the hacker's main way is to try and disconnect you from the network to make sure that you do not know about it, this is where MTD will actually help to let you know right away. Even in the act of disconnecting you from the network, the AI will actually let you know, look, there is someone that's already disconnected your network, or there is a man-in-the-middle attack. A man-in-the-middle attack is basically whereby someone tries to infiltrate your network between your device and your router, and the AI will actually tell you right away, look, there is a person that's trying to infiltrate your network. And also at the same time, up to for Android devices and all that, you're actually able to disconnect the Wi-Fi. So this is where MTD can really help you in your cybersecurity prevention and also mitigation as well at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
Lawrence, you want to click on the next video?
Right.
Demonstration of a network man-in-the-middle attack on both an unsecured device as well as a device secured with mobile intrusion software. The device on the left will be emulating an attacker or hacker with a penetration testing tool from Zimperium called Zanti. We are going to target the iPhone on the right via IP address and attack the unsecured device with the man-in-the-middle attack. The iPhone is not currently running any security software. I'll turn the attack on in Zanti with SSL strip enabled. You will see what happens to the iPhone user during the attack. Now, using the iPhone, I'll open a browser and navigate to a few different web pages starting with apple.com. You'll see on the device on the left what the hacker will obtain from an unsecured device. You can see the man-in-the-middle attack work correctly by stripping the SSL from HTTPS to HTTP on the apple.com page. The hacker is now collecting session data during the attack. We'll navigate to other websites like bing.com and you'll notice the hacker is still collecting session data. Now let's go to LinkedIn and log in. I'm signing in with the test user. On the left, the hacker is still capturing my session data. One of the records shows a password was collected. Let's see what the hacker captured. Here is the username and password I signed into LinkedIn with. janekaram@gmail.com and password shadow123. The hacker successfully captured the username and password during this attack. Many times users have the same password for other services like email and other social profiles. This data can now be used to log into other sites to begin a sophisticated attack on the target. Now we are going to show the same scenario as before, except the device will be protected with the mobile intrusion software from Zimperium called Zips. We use the same iPhone that did not have security software running, but this time Zips will be active. I'll start the security software Zips. You can see at the top in the banner, Zips states you are protected. I'll close Zips, but it is still running in the background for continuous protection. Now back on the left, I'll open Zanti again to emulate the attacker. I'll target the iPhone on the right via IP address, but this time with Zips running. Once targeted on the left, I'll run the man-in-the-middle attack with SSL strip to hijack the session data from the user. We will then show how Zips protects you and your device. I've targeted the iPhone in Zanti. I'll click on man-in-the-middle and begin the attack just like I did earlier. As soon as I turn it on, you can see on the right, Zips almost instantly detects the man-in-the-middle attack. Then it disables the Wi-Fi connection to protect the device and the user's data. Zips is protecting against a network-based attack like in the previous scenario. Zips notifies the user and displays some of the data regarding the attack. You can see the type of attack, the network you were using, and the attacker's IP address.
Right. So the compromised device, can I bring back Saifuddin, for example? What kind of attack could happen and how you pick up this attack, actually?
Okay. Yeah, so going back to what we saw earlier in the video, the one that we just showed, and in fact what Kevin mentioned earlier, there are 4 very common ways that a mobile phone can be hacked. The first is through network. The network is basically when you connect to a Wi-Fi. So a hacker could be sitting on the Wi-Fi and make you think that you are connecting to a secure Wi-Fi, but actually the hacker has already compromised that Wi-Fi and you are connecting to the hacker's Wi-Fi. So what happens is if he's actually able to see all the transactions, all the things that you're doing through your phone via the Wi-Fi. That is one way, one method hacker could do it. Another way is through the device itself. Because if you look at it, a lot of people have this perception, and even for me as well, even before we had been working on mobile threat defense as one of the services we had, I always also had the perception that iOS is actually more secure or safer than Android. But in reality, if you look at it, even this year, iOS has been already updating their iOS many times. So why do they need to keep updating their? It's not only based on new features. It's because more vulnerabilities are found. And what we have seen is that because iOS have higher value added customers, it is very profitable for hackers to find weaknesses within the iOS. And so iOS is equally as vulnerable as an Android device. And this is one of the ways. It's through the OS itself where the hacker can get in. And hackers are always so profitable because once you get in, you find a vulnerability, you've got millions of phones that you can attack with that same vulnerability. That's why it's always advisable to update to the latest version once the version, of course, not all phones can be done that way because if your hardware is already outdated, you probably can't. But otherwise, it's always recommended to at least update your device to the latest OS wherever possible. Another way is through apps. Apps can be malicious apps because what hackers can do is they can reverse engineer, they can download an app, they can put in their malware inside and upload it back into the Play Store or whichever store that you download your app from. And when you download the app into your phone, the hacker can actually take control of the phone. That is another way of entry. And lastly, of course, is phishing. This is also a very common method that's being used today. It's through either email or even SMS. Hackers are able to, if you wrongly click, or even videos, in fact. I think there was an example of how Jeff Bezos' phone got hacked. His phone got hacked because of he downloaded a video that was sent to him via WhatsApp, and it was malicious and it compromised his phone. So there are many, many ways actually hackers can get into our phones. And so we do recommend that at least you have some kind of protection to protect ourselves.
Now even videos also can be a malicious application.
Yes, correct.
Amazing. Hackers knows every keystroke we make once our devices are compromised. So
yes, they can record your videos. Username, they can.
Visual to website. Well, luckily, we have this tool to protect and mitigate the risk. That's very clear protection to our devices at the very least. So thank you, Saifuddin. Thank you. So as we are preparing ourselves to adapt to the COVID pandemic, to be an endemic, so our task force ministers actually are drawing up a roadmap to this new normal, living normally with COVID-19. So therefore, all businesses are asking, while they are pushing up their business performance, the employees are their main assets, ensuring their safety, providing them the confidence that going back to office or working remotely, physically or digitally, are safe. So these are real valid thoughts in our minds. We always ask ourselves. So let me bring Victor online. Hi, Victor.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi.
Hi.
So with your experience in the cybersecurity arena, and you have provided numerous consultancy for corporations and individuals. Can you share more on which should come first, cybersecurity at a corporate level or at the end user level, which is the individual like you and me?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Lawrence. I think over the last 1.5 years, a lot of things have changed, right, because of the pandemic. So previously, I think people looked at drawing the line between corporate and end user. And obviously it was important for organizations, regardless of size, to focus on securing the perimeter, right? So that was the norm, right, at the time. So whether the users, end users, whatever it is, you don't literally take work home as much as you do today. So now you are literally taking your work home out of your corporate protection, right? So the home in the olden days was your files, but in today it's basically your devices. So henceforth now you're taking your devices home, and the devices is not only limited to laptops today, it is limited to our mobile and all our smart devices across the board. So today, corporate information, data, emails, and everything is sitting on our tablets, sitting on our mobile phones. So there's no longer a fine line drawing between should we secure corporate first or end users. It needs to come as a package because of the new norm that we're facing today, right? No matter how strong a security you may have, as what Saifuddin had said earlier, Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man, I'm sure, surely his security team is bigger than most organizations as a whole. And yet he missed out on one thing, right? He didn't realize that, videos on WhatsApp can be dangerous. And because of the fact that we carry these mobile devices everywhere, and we use it for almost 95% of the things that we do today because of this new norm, whether is it work, we have now mixed that device from work to social to even online purchasing, right? Buying your groceries, buying your home deliveries and all that. So that whole thing has increased our landscape risk, right? Today we carry in the palm of our hand a slice of a bread, literally, and we can do 99% of the things. But that same slice of bread size mobile device can also bring you a lot of harm. So that importance have actually shifted. Obviously, corporate network is also equally important, but that's a given today. I mean, at least in a Singapore context, I think that's a given. I think your government gives a lot of incentives to do that. That's a given. But now we need to take it to the next level and say, hey, look, now I'm carrying this device or a smart device everywhere, and I'm actually doing a lot of corporate work, emails, contacts, and everything. And if that lands in the wrong hands, right, lands in the wrong hand in terms of control, as what the video has shown, that your phone has been taken over. And it's as easy as the few pointers that Saifuddin has mentioned. It's a network you're on or an app that you've downloaded that was malicious, a video you down, and even websites we visit today, a lot of video websites has been compromised. As I think you all would have seen lately, I think it's got to do with the Chinese, I think some hacking going on, and they lure some of these people, activists, into the website, right? When they lure them in, so basically they put them, you go into the website, the moment you browse the website, you have been compromised, right? So there's so many modes. Our landscape threat is expanded so enormously over the last 1.5 years. And today there's only we only hear two headline news. It's either an update on COVID or somebody else got hacked, right? There's those two things. So I think there's no fine line. There's no longer a fine line between corporate or end user. I think it has to be a package deal. If a company looks at protecting its infrastructure and networks, perimeter networks, but I think at the same time, they need to place equal importance into that device that carries corporate information home or anywhere. Yeah.
Totally agree. I think not only that, the small bread-sized device that you said just now is something that we use from the time we wake up in the morning till the last device that we touch at the end of the day before you go to sleep. Right. It's
no longer the spouse, or the girlfriend, right? The first and the last, it's no longer that anymore.
No longer our wives and girlfriends that we used to say hi and bye. But now it's the device that we're going to talk to most of the time.
Correct.
So thank you.
Yep, sure, welcome.
Thank you, Victor, for your valuable insight. Thank you. So there are very obvious shifts in the workforce across all the industries and government agencies. They started on re-evaluating their real estate use, hybrid work arrangement, digital transformation to gain secure accessibility to data in the hybrid environment. At the same time, prepare the safe return of their employees to the office, assuring them their well-being. Security of the internet is like protecting devices and data in the wild. The security threats we face today is ever-changing and evolve at a very fast pace. The knowledge to mitigate loopholes, proved to be a very difficult and a challenging scope for many organizations and individuals. So scalability to be able to monitor, detect, and respond to such cyber threats and incidents need a robust and reliable next-generation cybersecurity monitoring tool. With proper assessment, analysis, and preventive measures, we believe the security of your device are leveled up to mitigate or at least minimize as being the potential target for hackers at large. Well, thank you very much for your attendance and to our special guests, right, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences of the importance of protecting our digital devices and not be the weakest link in the digital world. So stay safe, everyone. So let me hand over the session to Gladys. Thank you. Gladys, please.
Thanks, Lawrence. Wow, I think the last video really caught me off guard. Now I don't dare to bring phone to toilet. Right.
It was the same video that I sent to my children and my wife. All right. From then onwards, no one dares to go for free Wi-Fi.
Okay, that's a good one. I must really hide the phone in my bag if I ever go to the toilet. This will become my, in Chinese called yin yin, Right. Earlier on, yes, we missed out on the poll, so we will bring back the poll. Just a quick one before we go into the Q&A proper. Let me just share back my screen to launch the poll. Yes. Let me see. Yep. I believe that some of the hacking terms that is being shown here is being mentioned during the webinar. Not sure if you all heard any of it, but I caught man in the middle, explained by Kevin. Yeah, and phishing. So, yep. So while we...
The second one is very tough.
The second one is?
Yeah, the second question very tough.
The second question very tough. Yes.
But the answer is the easiest.
How many do you know? No time to Google. We also have some questions that is coming up on our chat box that you see. Thank you. We will answer you shortly. While we're waiting for the poll to be up, perhaps let me ask a question to Lawrence. Yeah, this is back on to the video that we saw earlier, that I saw earlier. See, from the last video, I'll call it the toilet video. From the video that we saw, the documentary, we see that the presenter is using the toilet and her phone camera captures that, when she goes to the toilet. How can the camera be hacked? I mean, how does the hacking actually even work?
This one you have to ask the expert. Kevin, thank you very much.
So Gladys, the way it works is like, as how Cypherden explained just now, right? There's the 4 points of compromise. It can be the app, it can be the device, it can be phishing, it can be... And so to put it in very layman terms or in very easy terms, right? It's just as simple as the girl clicking a video which is already embedded with a malicious code, and the moment the girl clicks the video that can come through anything, whether iMessage, WhatsApp, Telegram even, or any kind of app, even Facebook Messenger for the matter, the malicious code that is already embedded in the video can be executed upon click and straight away gain access to the root device, access to the device. Once the hacker is able to gain access to the root user of the device, you can basically do anything you want on the phone because the phone is pretty much at the hacker's control. So it can even do any sort of, let's say if you were to attempt a banking transaction, and a lot of transaction these days, you will need an OTP to actually authorize a transaction. The hacker already has access to your phone, so the moment he attempts the the transaction, the OTP is also coming to the phone that the hacker is in control of, and therefore can be able to actually authorize the transaction. And it's extremely hard to even prove that the phone was hacked or the transaction was unauthorized, because everything came from your phone. You authorized the OTP, so it looks as though it was actually got done by you, but it's not.
You mean even two-factor authentication?
Yes, because you see the OTP is coming to your phone, and because the hacker has root access to your phone, it can read all your messages that is coming into your phone actually.
Okay. Wow. Hey, guys, I'm giving your poll questions away. Two-factor authentication, 62%. Yeah, I can see people voting 62%. You may want to think about that. Right. So, earlier on, Lawrence, you mentioned about Wi-Fi, right? Okay. I don't use free Wi-Fi in Singapore. I mean, too legit for me to go and switch here, switch there. But traveling, think about traveling. We will hop on to any free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no brainer. We will sure go for the free Wi-Fi when we're overseas.
Okay, so now we have to be extra careful. Coming to the free Wi-Fi, companies provide free Wi-Fi. Are these dangerous too?
Well, you have to look at it at a different perspective. Yeah, for corporate free Wi-Fi are all provided or being governed. Yeah, they are all managed. Right. So although it's a free Wi-Fi that we provided for guests to come in, they are quite isolated from our production network, meaning that they are not able to come into the main office kind of a production infrastructure. Right. So it's a total separate traffic.
Okay.
But of course, because we are providing that free Wi-Fi for guests, there must be a minimum security parameter setting that we set for customers or guests that comes in. Right. So in a way, it is quite controlled, it is managed, but we can't say the same if we are out and about. Yeah. For example, you go to a park, when you go to a mall, when you have a ride in a cab, for example, right? So all these are not managed. Yeah. In a way, it could be malicious. So we never know when it's going to be hacked, or we never know when it's going to be compromised, especially when you have to get connected to it. Yeah. If you realize, if you recall, when we get into free Wi-Fi registration, what are a few things that they ask for? Your username, your preferred password, right? And some details sometimes, yeah. Your date of birth, yeah, or what are things you like, and things like that. So that's trigger that registration in a way, yeah, to potential threats that you will come in, yeah, because most of the time, as what a lot of users have been using or users have been doing is that one password serves all. So you can have your Facebook, your Instagram, or whatever accounts you have gotten, Gmail, Yahoo Mail, whatever you have, it's always one standard password. That's the best part.
Okay.
Yeah. So once that is compromised, you'll try all means to get into your other social platforms, other connectivity through your banking system or whatever. So it becomes a threat. Yeah, so we have to be very careful.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence. Okay, coming back to the poll, let's share with you the results. Okay. Okay, let me share. Right. Like we mentioned, two-factor. A lot of people choose two-factor, 62%. I think you may want to, consider that again. Next gen firewall, 19%. A robust, easy to use VPN, 3%. Okay. End user, 16%. Actually, this is a trick question. We are coming to this webinar. It's talking about end user, right? So I was hoping more would choose end user. Okay. Anyway, hacking terms. Oh, the above got 19%. Wow. Some very, very, very good cyber people here amongst our event this time around. 19%. Okay. And from our LinkedIn, actually I also asked some questions on LinkedIn to do a quick poll. It shows that for LinkedIn, right, 77% chooses two-factor authentication. and 15% chooses a robust, easy to access VPN, and only 8% on end user. So now we can see from this poll that we really do not focus on end user. And the fact is we are truly the weakest link. Right. Okay, so let's come back to questions. To the question. We have some questions from our chat. Somebody asking, what about using facial ID to access apps? Can this be compromised as well? Or even no, these days nobody key in password anymore. They use facial. So how can this be, hacked?
Interesting. Kevin would like to answer that?
Yeah, so like I explained just now, right? Facial ID, or rather, if you get a malicious video or something like that, you could secure your WhatsApp with facial recognition, Face ID or even PIN code and all that. But however, you have already, click on the video and it's already gained root access. So it is in a way safe to actually implement facial ID to, access app. However, if you already authorize it and then click on the app, or the malicious document or malicious video or malicious photo for that matter, it will still be able to gain access inside already because it's already bypassed that authentication. Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you, Kevin. Okay, there's another question that asks, why would companies invest in mobile software unless companies got company mobile phones?
Take that question.
Okay, maybe I will attempt to answer this question. Yeah. So I think in terms of that, right, we ask ourselves the question. I mean, this is typical in a bigger corporate environment where we talk about BYOD today, bring your own device. So I think the organizations need to differentiate between, okay, if you are not giving a company mobile, you're allowing, but if you're allowing your employees to actually access information, then you need to have a policy on BYOD. So in the sense that even though that's an individual phone, I think it is also the company's responsibility to say that if we don't give you a phone, we probably want to secure it if you want to have access. I mean, this is similar to MDM solutions that a lot of large corporate use, their mobile management tool, whereby if assuming the phone has been stolen, whatever they reported, all the data will be wiped off remotely. So similarly to today's environment with mobile threat defense, I think that the similar approach it depends on the company's policy. If the company wants to allow the employees to access corporate information like email through their mobile phone, then perhaps it will be the company's responsibility to say, okay, perhaps we provide this. Obviously, a mobile threat defense solution is unlike an MDM, is non-intrusive. Yeah, when I say non-intrusive, in MDM, you actually grant a lot of permission to your employer to wipe out your data and all that stuff, even your own contacts and things like that. There's a big debate on this. But with the mobile threat defense, it's purely just to also protect not only the company, but also the individual employees' data in their own phone contacts, whatever.
All right. Thank you, Victor. Right. So can this product be extended to consumer?
Yes. It's basically quite simple because as what Victor has just mentioned, it's non-intrusive. It just sits, you just have to download the app, and once the app is running in the background, it is able to protect the phone. But the important thing is you could download the app today, but without activation, it won't work. So all that needs to be done is to be able to activate it.
All right, thank you. Okay, last questions that we have for today is, how is this mobile software deployed? I mean, when you have onboarding, right? You bring the IT will help you to set up everything for you, the laptop, and then off you go. You can kickstart your work. So how does this software? Is it something similar? The IT will need to help you onboard it.
Yes. So basically, there's a few options to deploy. One is, of course, an end user, like what Safadin said, can actually download it from the App Store directly, but provided there is an activation code, which should be provided either by the company or a service provider. Secondly, of course, is if you're deploying this on a corporate wide, there are a few ways. One is using MDM itself, which can be integrated together with the MDM to actually roll out the MTD solution, or to be able to install and activate the app automatically via MDM. The second one is, of course, using your IT team, because most of the companies today, when you deploy your laptop and all that, the IT team is the one that get ready your laptop and get ready your connection to your company data and things like that. So same way, likewise in this, we can actually utilize the same method, whereby whether be it BYOD phones or be it corporate devices and all that, the IT team can actually deploy this for the end user, and the end user can get their device readily installed with the MTD. So it's actually pretty simple, even for the IT team as well, and as for the end user as well.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Okay, with this, we have come to the end of our session. Thank you to our panel speakers, Lawrence, Victor, Saifuddin, and Kevin, for your sharing and providing invaluable insights to cybersecurity. The weakest link is you. We want to thank every one of you here, the participants, for taking this time to attend the webinar. Okay, before we end the session, to make this session even sweeter, there is a special deal. And this is because you have attended and registered for the webinar. So this is the time you should get your camera ready, take a picture, grab a paper or pen, or even your Microsoft snipping tool to cut and paste what I'm going to show you on screen next. Yes, tada, 1 year free licenses, 5 lucky winners, or rather 5 lucky companies to walk away with this 1 year free license. And what you need to do is email us, corporate@ricoh.sg, within 30 days. So deadline is August 22nd, exactly 1 month from this webinar, with 3 names or 3 companies that you feel that will benefit from this solution. Caring is sharing, right? What you heard today, I'm sure there's a big takeaway. So let us know who you think will benefit from these solutions, and you can walk away with 1 year free license. Okay, if you like to choke, I use a Singapore term, choke this free giveaway, you can do so. But when we once we call you, contact you, you need to get the names ready, just in case you right now fumbling. I don't know who to share with. No worries, you can choke. Send us your interest through corporate@ricoh.sg, and then we'll contact you. But you must have your names ready by then. Okay. So what are you waiting for? Take down corporate@ricoh.sg and note our webinar code RSP07PROTECT. Okay, so you will need to repeat up. Email us corporate@ricoh.sg with this special webinar code RSP07PROTECT to choke your free license today. Okay, I'll come back to this because I think this is what Lawrence mentioned in his earlier introduction to Ricoh Singapore Agile Workplace. Here at Ricoh Singapore, we help customers to navigate through the new normal by solving essential customer pain points through our services. And how do we do that? You're invited to book a Ricoh live office tour with us. Here in our office, you will see how Ricoh Singapore Digital Workplace Services embraces the design and creation of workplaces to help businesses reap the benefits of work style innovation. Seeing is believing. Email corporate@ricoh.sg to book your appointment with us today. If there's anything you always remember, corporate@ricoh.sg. Okay. Your feedback matters to us because you are important to us. So if there's any particular business solutions that interest you, you can always indicate in your submission. Under Ricoh Cloud and IT infrastructure, besides managed security, which is what this webinar is all about, we also have managed IT support and management, as well as managed cloud services. So if you'd like to know more of each of these solutions or any other solutions like smart and safe workplace, remote worker, or process automation, do indicate in the feedback form as well. And how do you register your interest? We make it very, very easy. Once this webinar ends, there will be a feedback form that pops up in your browser. So once we end this session, you exit in your browser, there will be this feedback form, and it will only take 1 minute of your time. So it's just a very quick six questions that we are asking you. Right, we are coming to the end. We love to stay connected with you. So do us. So check us out on our Ricoh Singapore Facebook and LinkedIn. Like and follow us for more webinar updates, or simply be in the know for the latest tech trending content. Okay, we have come to the end of our session. We will have a monthly webinar session whereby we bring you the relevant topics that is aligned beyond today's tech trends. We look forward to receiving you in our next webinar, which is scheduled on August 26th, a Thursday, 3 p.m. So with this, thank you once again for spending your afternoon with us. Till we next meet, stay safe. Catch you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.